Thank you. We have to move this back. Thank you.
Alec Baldwin in the clear. Actor's involuntary manslaughter charges are dropped as new evidence shows the gun could have been fired without him pulling the trigger, directly contradicting FBI as he arrives in Montana to resume filming. "I owe everything I have to this woman." Alec Baldwin credits his wife Hilaria after involuntary manslaughter charges dropped as new evidence shows gun could have been fired without him pulling the trigger, directly contradicting FBI. Alec Baldwin paid tribute to his wife Hilaria as it emerged charges against him for accidentally shooting and killing a cinematographer on the set of his Western movie Rust were being dropped. "I owe everything I have to this woman," said Baldwin, posting a photo to Instagram with his 39-year-old wife, mother to his 7 children. Baldwin added, "And to you, Luke," a reference to his attorney, Luke Nichols. The charges were dropped after new evidence emerged, suggesting that the gun could have been fired without pulling the trigger. A source close to the investigation told the Wall Street Journal. The FBI rubbished Baldwin's claim that he did not pull the trigger, but the source said the gun was modified before it reached the set to allow it to fire a bullet without the trigger being pulled. Charges against the armorer who provided the fatal weapon remain. Baldwin, 65, discovered on Thursday that 2 involuntary manslaughter charges against him over the October 2021 killing of Helena Hutchins have been dropped. His lawyers, Luke Nichols and Alex Spiro, told DailyMail.com, "We are pleased with the decision to dismiss the case against Alec Baldwin, and we encourage a proper investigation into the facts and circumstances of this tragic accident." Baldwin arrived in Montana last night to resume filming the movie, which was being shot in New Mexico at the time of Hutchins' death. The Santa Fe District Attorney's Office did not immediately return requests for comment by DailyMail.com. Recently appointed special prosecutors Kari Morrissey and Jason Lewis are expected to be filing paperwork to dismiss the charges soon. It means that the details of the incident are set to be investigated further, and the case could be resurrected in the future. Baldwin's co-defendant and Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is still facing the charges against her. This will keep the probe into the accident open and allow prosecutors to retain subpoena power going forward. It comes just days after the filing of the witness list for the preliminary hearing on May 3rd became public. That includes former Rust script supervisor Mamie Mitchell, who is suing Baldwin and his fellow producers in one of the many sued against them. However, it is thought that the hearing will not go ahead, with prosecutors looking into the circumstances of the incident again. It follows the Santa Fe District Attorney Mary Carmack Altwees stepping down from the case late last month. Production stopped abruptly in October 2021 when Baldwin shot a live round from a prop gun, killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the movie's New Mexico set. Rookie armorer Gutierrez-Reed has had no further part in the filming of the movie, which Baldwin has pushed forward in creating. In February, the Santa Fe District Attorney's Office dropped a key gun enhancement charge, a crime that would have carried a 5-year sentence if convicted. Director Joel Souza, who was injured by the same bullet that killed Hutchins, will also return to finish the project. Last week, a judge sealed from public view the terms of a civil settlement between Baldwin and Hutchins' widower, Matthew, and their son. Matthew Hutchins and Baldwin came to another agreement in October. Part of that stipulated that Hutchins will serve as executive producer on the film. After settling the lawsuit last year, Matthew claimed he desired no further recriminations. But in January, Hutchins' family said they supported Baldwin being charged with involuntary manslaughter. Last Thursday, Baldwin filed a motion that another lawsuit filed by Hutchins' parents and sister be thrown out, claiming they had been distanced from her physically, financially, and emotionally for years before her death. Baldwin said in court documents, "The loss of a daughter and sister is undoubtedly painful in any circumstance, yet plaintiffs who had been distanced from Helena physically, financially, and emotionally for years before her death have no viable cause of action against defendants." Matthew Hutchins had been set to testify in court and was added to the New Mexico District Attorney's witness list to testify at the preliminary hearing on February 24th. Baldwin received approval from Judge Mary Marlowe Summer to be absent from the preliminary examination. Judge Summer was set to determine if there was enough evidence to go to a full trial, and the new decision has plunged the case into chaos. Prosecutors initially alleged Baldwin pulled the trigger of the gun that killed Hutchins, while Gutierrez-Reed failed to ensure it was unloaded. The widower, who shared a 9-year-old son with Hutchins, sued the Rust production team last year and was appointed executive director as a part of the settlement. The extensive witness list includes director Joel Souza, who was wounded by the bullet that passed through Hutchins, and Assistant Director David Halls. Halls is accused of telling Baldwin the gun was cold safe, an accusation he has denied. He agreed a plea deal with prosecutors in January, which included a 6-month suspended sentence and a fine. Prop worker Seth Kenny, camera assistant Lane Lupaire, line producer Gabrielle Pickle, and script supervisor Mame Mitchell will also likely testify. Prosecutors noted in court documents submitted in January that Baldwin was absent from an initial firearms training session. Gutierrez-Reed set up an hour-long subsequent session for Baldwin, but they only completed 30 minutes. According to Reed, Baldwin was distracted and talking on his cell phone to his family during the training, the prosecutors stated. The affidavit claimed Baldwin gave inconsistent accounts about how the shooting happened, first telling police he fired the gun, then insisting he did not pull the trigger. Prosecutors stated that photos and videos clearly show Baldwin multiple times, with his finger inside the trigger guard and on the trigger. They add, Baldwin approached responding deputies on the day of the shooting, wanting to talk to them because he was the one who fired the gun. Baldwin claimed in interviews after the shooting that he did not pull the trigger. He believes the fault lies with the armorer, who he says should have checked the gun was safe before it was handed to him. Yet the probable cause statement against Baldwin referred to the FBI's previous analysis of the firearm, which clearly showed that the weapon could not accidentally fire. The document also said Baldwin failed to demand at least 2 safety checks between the armorer and himself prior to the shooting.